Welcome! In this explainer, we're diving into a modern approach for teaching writing to heritage language learners. We're going to focus on the experience of Tamil students who are learning outside of a native-speaking country, but honestly, the lessons here apply to so many of us.
So, let's kick things off with a big question, one that really gets to the heart of the challenge for so many students, parents, and even volunteer teachers. What does it really mean to be good at writing a language you might speak at home, but are just now learning to read and write?
You see, for heritage learners, it can feel like you're living in two different worlds. There's this gap between the language you speak conversationally and the formal language you're being taught to write, and that creates a really unique set of challenges. Now, the way things have traditionally been done is often focused on linguistic perfection. I mean, zero spelling mistakes, perfect grammar, the whole deal. These methods are usually based on how someone would learn in a native-speaking country and are often taught by amazing, well-meaning parent volunteers who are just teaching the way they were taught. But you can imagine, for a student learning a brand new script, this can feel, well, pretty slow and frustrating.
Okay, so this is where things get really exciting. Modern pedagogy suggests a huge, powerful shift in perspective. And this one simple shift can change literally everything for the learner.
So here it is, the crucial pivot. The old way of thinking asked, what mistakes did the student make? The new focus asks, what is the student trying to say? Can I understand their message? It seems small, but this one change reframes the entire learning experience.
And this shift is put into practice with a super practical tool called can-do statements. Instead of getting bogged down in abstract grammar rules, learning is all about real-world tasks. The goal isn't a flawless sentence, it's a shopping list that works, or an email that gets the point across. You know, things you can actually do.
So you might be asking, how do we measure this new focus on communication? Well, educators use a really clear rubric with 4 key criteria. It's adapted from the national ACTFL standards. That's the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages.
All right, let's break down what each of these 4 pillars of assessment really means for students' writing. They build on each other to give us a complete picture of a student's ability.
First up, we have language function, and honestly, this is the big one. It simply asks, did the student accomplish the goal? If the prompt was to describe a person, did they describe a person? It's all about completing the task. Simple as that. Next, we've got text type. This looks at how much the student can write and how well they organize it. Are they writing just single words, simple sentences, or can they connect those sentences into a whole paragraph? It's all about the structure and length of their writing.
Now, to understand the third criterion, think about this for a second. When a toddler says something like, I good fast, baby drink, milk all gone, the grammar is obviously not perfect, but as a parent, you know exactly what they mean, right?
That parent is what we call a sympathetic reader. They're focused on the message, not the mistakes. And that right there is the core of comprehensibility. The goal is to grow from being understood by your teacher, who gets it, to being understood by any native speaker, even one who isn't used to learner language.
And finally, we have language control. This is where we look at grammar and vocabulary. But here's the key. It's viewed to the lens of communication. The question isn't, are there mistakes? The question is, do the mistakes get in the way of me understanding the message? It's definitely important, but it comes after making sure the student can complete the task and be understood.
Okay, this is the really cool part. We can actually see a student's progress visually as they move through these levels. So let's take a look at a few student writing samples. They're all telling the story of Cinderella.
So here at the novice high level, what we see is basically a list of facts. The sentences are simple and they're disconnected from each other. The ideas are there, but they aren't linked together just yet.
Now moving into intermediate low, the student is starting to connect their thoughts. They're actually beginning to create with the language, and you can see they're forming some connected sentences. It's a huge leap forward.
At intermediate mid, the sentences get more complex. We're starting to see connectors being used, which helps organize the text. Things are getting more sophisticated.
At intermediate high, this starts to look and feel like a real paragraph. The sentences flow, there's a lot more detail, and the whole story is much, much clearer.
And finally, at the advanced low level, look at this. We have well-organized paragraphs. The writer can narrate across different time frames, and the vocabulary is much richer. A native speaker could read this and understand it without any effort at all. It's a fantastic achievement.
So why is this whole shift from perfection to proficiency so important? It's because it builds a bridge from the weekend classroom directly to real-world opportunities.
This proficiency-based approach, when you combine it with modern skills like digital typing in TAMIL, is exactly what prepares students for major standardized tests. It's all about building practical, testable skills.
And the ultimate payoff? Achieving valuable credentials like the Seal of Biliteracy. This is a formal recognition of high-level proficiency in 2 languages, and it's accepted on diplomas in all 50 U.S. states. It really does open doors to college and careers.
By shifting our focus from catching mistakes to celebrating communication, we do so much more than just teach a language. We equip students with the skills and, just as importantly, the confidence to succeed as bilingual individuals in a global world.